Hello you beautiful people and welcome back to Joeboy Racing. In today's video I'm going to be giving you my best bets, my tips for the third day of the York Ebor meeting. I'll also be doing a quick review as to how my selections got on in the first day of racing, so let's get stuck into it. For any of you new subscribers, I always do a quick review of all of my selections just for accountability really, so we know where we've gone wrong. Maybe there was a disappointing bit of riding, etc. But I just think it's the right thing to do for you guys. So let's have a look how we got on. So in the first race that I tipped up, the Acom, very disappointing running from the selections here. Obviously, I was right to take on the two short price Favs. They were both pretty disappointing. Not so much Italy, but especially the Godolphin horse. However, I've picked the wrong horse to side with. Gawan has put in a really great race, so hats off to him. I know a lot of people were tipping up Italy anti-post for the Guinea, so good performance. Goodwood Galaxy drifted like an absolute barge in the market, and for good reason. Obviously, he's ended up falling out the back of the telly. Rockfort Bridge obviously run an honourable race, coming in fourth place, but you know, after the front two, they were all miles off. So wasn't a good start, but we'll move on to the next one. So in the 3 o'clock, the Great Voltage Stakes, a bit of a turn up here. Pride of Aris went in. Hats off to him. Hats off to Rafe Beckett. However, I do feel like Karma's was the best horse in that race. Watching it back, you know, people in the comments have said it wasn't a great ride. I agree. But obviously, things were made difficult. You know, Ballydoyle just put a wall of horses on the outside, boxed him in. I do think the jockey should have been aware of that and tried to do something different. But Karma stayed on really gamely, like he always does, to get second place. Obviously, I backed him anti-post, mentioned him in my anti-post video, and then in the comment on that video saying that he was going at 14 to 1 with 3 places. So I got some nice place returns on that one. And hopefully you guys that didn't jump on anti-post did back him each way to get your stake back. Moving on to the Juddmonte International, the 335. Ombudsman looked classy there, didn't he? I did think at one point we might have a Kirat 2.0 on the go with that Burcastle getting such a big lead. I'm interested to know, let me know down in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are on this whole pacemaker business. It seems like it's all getting a little bit silly now. My selection, the Riz, was a bit of a gamble. I was hoping he would improve a lot more than what he showed. Obviously, he didn't ride him out full race because they knew the race was lost. Both the foreign raiders were disappointing, to be honest. Obviously, I was on 14 to 1 anti-post with the 3 places, and the race did shape up how, you know, although there was the pacemaker in there, they held well off, and I thought, oh, it's coming for a sprint finish. This is going to be right up the Riz's street, and he just didn't perform. So, wasn't enough improvement from him there. Obviously, isn't the same caliber as these, which was disappointing. However, there is a nice little rivalry brewing up here between Delacroix and Ombudsman now. Right, moving on to the 410, my last selection in the Stayers Handicap. I put up our Moo here. What a game horse he is, you know. I just absolutely love him. Always runs a big race. This season, he's always been in the frame of his races. I thought he was going to be there or thereabouts. Obviously, he didn't get the job done, couldn't quite hold on. I thought Wayne did give him an excellent ride. He's ended up holding on for third place and some decent place returns at 22 to 1. So unfortunately, no winners on day one, guys. It's always disappointing. We did get some places, some place returns as well at decent prices. So it wasn't the worst day in the world. And fingers crossed we can bounce back on day two with a winner. So moving on to my bets, my tips for day three. I've only had a bet in 2 races on day three, so we'll get stuck into those now. Have a look at them. The first one comes in the Nunthorpe, the Group 1 sprint over 5 furlongs. This is going to be a cracking sprint. And I actually like 2 in here, which are 2 previous winners for the channel as well. JM Jungle and Arizona Blaze. Obviously, JM Jungle done the job for us at Goodwood at a big price, advised at 20 to 1. And my thinking behind these two is just they're proper game, proper genuine horses, always run a massive race. They're always there or thereabouts. There's 4 places available, and I just think they're going to definitely be in a frame. If you look at JM Jungle's course and distance form, you think, oh, he's only won 1 out of 9 tries, but he's placed 7 times. And when you look back through those races, he often has come up against smart handicappers and he's given them a stone or You know, in the case of American Affair, he's not finished. I think he finished a length off American Affair at the start of the season at York, who's then gone on to win a Group 1. Shame American Affair isn't in here, by the way. I tipped him up in my Royal Ascot Day 1 preview. Hopefully he can get back fit and back racing ASAP. I just think back on level weights with a majority of these, he's going to perform a lot better than his previous course and distance form would suggest at York. He showed at Goodwood that he can do it against the best when the weight's a little bit more competitive. However, saying that, obviously you do have a couple of 2-year-olds in here that almost get a stone in hand from JM Jungle, one of which being Spicy Marg as well. And I've backed Spicy Marg the whole season, jumped off at Goodwood because of a couple of disappointments, and I got stung then. And she's drawn right around the same area as JM Jungle. She's quality Arizona Blaze, so she might be able to get a nice toe into the race, and I think that weight could come back to bite us. So fingers crossed that's not the case. I don't want to get stung by Spicy Marg again. And it's the same arguments really with Arizona Blaze. Always runs a big race, proper consistent performer. Ran at York last year as well. Only finished ahead in that Harry's $500,000 race. So we know the track's not going to be a problem. We know the going's not going to be a problem either. And at 6-1 with 4 places, you know, you can still back him each way and be fairly confident that if he doesn't win, you're going to get your stake back. So I'm fairly confident my 2 selections are going to be there and thereabouts. I also like with Arizona Blaze, he can do it over 6 as well. So he always is prominent, always goes off at a strong pace. I think he's going to be pretty hard to catch. I will give an honourable mention as well to that Celandine, the Ed Walker horse. She seems to absolutely love York. Finished pretty close up behind Sayadar Darian last time out. I think the step back down to 5 furlongs will suit her. And you can get a monster price of 33-1. And obviously, like I said earlier, the way the sprints have been playing out, where been getting some big price winners, some unexpected winners, I do think that she is a bit of a dark horse. However, the selections for me, JM Jungle 14-1 at time of recording with 4 places. I backed it each way, and also Arizona Blaze at 6-1. My next bet comes in the 520, the mile handicap. Proper competitive little handicap here. I think this is going to be a cracking race. The selection here is 5th column at 8-1 with 5 places. If you watch my July course, that day 2 vlog back, I backed 5th column. He dug me out of a big hole, and I thought he won smartly that day. He's then gone to Goodwood, running a really competitive handicap on ground that isn't his favourite, and I thought he run a good race considering the ground factor. The horse that finished second that day, EBT's Guard, has subsequently gone and won a handicap at Ascot as well next time out. And I think back on preferable ground, at a more conventional track, he's going to run a massive race. So 8-1 with 5 places, I can't see him being out the top 5. So I've backed him each way. I'm also going to have a small each way saver in this race. There's a horse in here called Supido. He's just caught my eye a couple of times. I've never backed him before, but you look back at his previous first 2 runs of the season, he's run really gamely. I know the bare form figures don't reflect that. However, I think York is going to suit him. I think the way this race is going to be set up will suit him as well. You can get 20-1 about him at time of recording. I'm going to hold off for the day for best odds guaranteed because I can see him going out a little bit further than that as well. And I just thought he was a little bit of an interesting one at the prices. He's definitely more exposed than some of these in here. However, with the 5 places, I think he's going to be around that 22-1, 25-1 mark. Even 20-1, I'll put a bet on him, but I'm just waiting for best odds guaranteed. And I just think he might be able to spring a little bit of an upset. So that's all of my bets, guys, all of my tips for day 3 of the Ebor meeting. Hopefully we can go close in day 2 with a couple. Obviously I'm recording this beforehand. I will say War Faith, the one that I tipped up, my first tip, has drifted in the market, which doesn't bode well looking at Goodwood Galaxy yesterday, but you know, the market doesn't always get it right. Get stuck into the comments as always, guys. Let me know what you're backing on the 3rd day. Let me know if there's any good things that I've missed out on. We've got loads of new subscribers coming into the channel. I really appreciate you getting involved, guys. I will be putting out my day 4 preview around the same time tomorrow. If you like the video, give it a like. And as always, guys, Happy punting.